Good afternoon, and welcome back again to a Better Jamaica series of sit down interviews with the candidates for District 27 Council District in Queens. With me this afternoon is Renee Hill. Good afternoon, Renee.
Hi, good afternoon.
It's good
Thank
to
you.
have you here, and thanks for sitting down with a Better Jamaica. I am Gail Lewis, and it's my pleasure today to conduct this interview. The only thing that we ask in the next 45 minutes is that you don't speak in sound bites and bullet points, but instead tell us your story, your values, your vision for District 27. Okay?
Sounds good.
Great. Every good story tends to start, well, every good fairy tale tends to start with once upon a time. So let's start there. Once upon a time, Renee Hill was born where and to whom?
Okay. I was born right here in Jamaica, Queens, Holliswood Hospital, to Myrna Shera uh, and James Cheatham.
Mhm. Great.
So,
And brothers and sisters?
and my brothers and sisters, Mark Cheatham, Jill Cheatham, and I have adopted brothers and sisters, Chris Shepherd and Christine Shepherd. So, but I raised them, so they call me mom. So,
Okay. So where were you in the birth order?
I am the oldest.
Oh, wow. Of all of them, the
Yeah.
adopteds too. Wow.
Well, yeah, the adopteds are very young.
Mhm. And so, how do you think being the oldest of the brood has informed you as a leader?
I was a mother. I was a mother to my mother, so I've always been a mother. And my brother is only like 10 months younger than I am,
Mhm.
and he never wanted me around because he's like, oh, I don't want my sister around. But all his friends wanted me around because I was the pretty girl to hang out with, and so he didn't like it. But I hung out with. We all hung out together.
Mhm.
I was like a mother, and I was like, Mark, don't do this. Mark, don't do that. You can't go there. I'm going to tell daddy and mommy. But daddy and mommy didn't matter. They didn't care. I was the only one that cared. So I've always been like that.
And what do your siblings do?
My brother is in the entertainment industry. He's an agent to a lot of large artist entertainers, and he works and he just moved to California recently. Well, if you consider it, like 3 years ago.
Mhm.
And then my sister, she is looking for a job. She's been looking for a job for a long time,
Mhm.
and it's kind of upsetting because it's a challenge for a lot of mid-aged Black women.
Mhm.
So that's been a struggle for
Absolutely.
her.
Hmm. Great. And where'd you go to high school?
Went to high school, Jamaica High School,
Nice.
and
What was your least favorite class at Jamaica High School?
my least favorite class. Oh, oh goodness, what was my? I don't know because I didn't. I mean, I just went to class and but I didn't have. They were all about equally the same. I
Equally
didn't like one
horrifying.
especially better. I loved. I guess it might be science. I
Hmm.
love math and English. I know it was important, so I liked going to English. It
Hmm.
might have been speech because I still have a little fear about that.
Hmm.
So that might have been English with the speech classes where you have to get up in front of the class and talk and
Hmm.
yeah, that might have been the worst. That's one of my phobias, which I'm learning to overcome.
I was just going to say, you're running for public office. I think you do a lot of that public speaking thing now. Maybe
now
I
now
don't know, I
I'm
don't know
used
how
to it.
that worked out for you.
You know what it is when I'm passionate about something, I can talk about it easily.
Yeah.
But when when I have so many ideas flowing in my head, then
Hmm.
sometimes I'll stutter or something, and
Right.
that's when I get like all frustrated and embarrassed and like, oh my god, I'm messing up, and then it gets worse.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
what happens.
Well, come to Toastmasters anytime.
I know. Well, listen, there's many times I thought about it for
All
many,
right.
many years,
After,
and then I heard you say that you go there, and I'm like, I really need to join. I think I will join.
okay, I'm going to hold you
When
to
I'm
it
going to
after the
join.
election. You're a little busy right now, but
Yeah, after.
so Jamaica High School, where you didn't like public speaking class, and then after Jamaica High School, what did you do next?
So after Jamaica High School, I went to Howard University,
Really nice.
and I was there. I was there probably about 3 years, but I had a lot of fun there. I didn't date in Jamaica High School, and after I hear all these guys that had a crush on me in high school, but no one ever
Oh,
approached me.
isn't that nice to
Yeah,
hear?
including Senator Leroy Comrie. That's
I
he
love
said that
it.
publicly before too. He had a little crush on me too. A lot of but they never approached me, so I didn't date in high school.
Mhm.
And then when I went to college, I experienced dating, and
Nice.
so I was having fun and everything. And being from New York, I thought I was a smart kid in the class, and I knew it all, and I didn't have to study a lot. And what happened was I wound up leaving there and heading to Vermont to get my grade point average up. And
Mhm.
I did excellent there and came back and then graduated from York.
Nice. Where'd
So,
you go in Vermont? What school?
Southern Vermont College. It's
Nice.
an absolutely beautiful college up there near
Oh, I can
Bellevue.
imagine. It must be beautiful.
It was beautiful, and I loved it. But because I had went to Howard and I went there, I kind of ran out of money, so I
Yeah.
had to
So
come
you
back
ended up
to New
back to
York.
York, but you got your
So
degree.
anyone that talks about colleges, I'm like, I know them all. Just come to me. I can walk you through it. You know?
I've tried HBCUs. I've tried city colleges. Yeah,
Yes.
you've done the whole thing.
Yes.
So you ended up at York, and what did you end up getting your degree in?
In economics.
Awesome.
And
Why
I
economics?
really liked York a lot. I really I love the teachers. I enjoyed going there. I had a my daughter was young at the time, maybe about 2 or 3 years old.
Mhm.
But yeah, she was about 3 years old. And but I tell all these kids now that want to go back to school, go locally, go to York. You'll enjoy it, and you'll graduate.
Yeah, absolutely. And not spend, millions of dollars
Right.
and still have some dollars left in your
That's
pocket when
right.
you're done.
But I
Um,
appreciated the experience of going to a black university.
mhm, absolutely.
I have
And,
lots of friends still from there.
oh, great. And then, where were you living in high school?
In high school, I lived in Flushing.
Hmm.
I lived right across the street from Parsons Junior High School. We had a house there,
Nice.
and there was a very tight African American community there,
Mhm.
and most of the mostly homeowners and like low rise apartment buildings in that community.
Mhm.
And I was there until I moved over to St. Albans area.
And when did you
Once I got
move to St.
married, I moved
Albans?
over here.
When did you move to St. Albans? About when?
In it was like 1980. I'm just trying to think. 1997.
Cool.
Mhm.
Okay. And so you've got your degree in economics, and what happened next?
Well, I've always been doing accounting. During the summers, I would help with accounting. I started as a cashier at Georgette Klinger. It was a well known um, facial, I guess, a cosmetology place where women would go get facials.
Where were they?
And
In
I
Jamaica?
started as a kid, huh?
Where were they located?
On Masson Avenue, sorry.
Nice.
And I started as a cashier, and their bookkeeper had left, and I said, "Can I try that position?" And I stayed there for a good 3 years in between coming back from Howard and then going to York. So I became their controller for
Nice.
a while, and then I left there. But that's like one of my first job was a cashier at a local supermarket, but that was like my second job working at Georgette Klinger.
Mhm.
So
And
I
then,
learned a lot
mhm.
of I taught myself bookkeeping at that point.
and that you kind of caught the bug, the bookkeeping, accounting bug from there.
Yes, what happened was I had a saw I'm trying to think. I saw an advertisement for Emery Roth and Sons. That's one of the what was one of the leading real estate um, architectural firms, and they built like a lot of skyscrapers. They're known for their skyscrapers.
Mhm.
And I saw they were looking for a controller, and I knew payroll. I did work at another company. I'm sorry. I worked at Freeman Management, which owns Payamatic. They're still around. All those check cashing stores.
Mhm.
Uh, I worked for that company,
Okay. Yeah,
and
Payomatic. They're still in the hood. Yeah.
yeah, they're still
Mhm.
yeah. I think the owner sold it. The one that had started the company, he sold it to probably a larger company. But I worked there for maybe 4 years, and that's where I learned the accounting. I learned bookkeeping. I started again. I started as a data entry person,
Wow.
worked my way into learning the books there because I kind of knew the books from working at the college and everything. I part time I'd work in college and ask them if they needed help. And then I started doing payroll. So I it just happens. They ask for help and I help them. And so that's where I learned a lot of the bookkeeping and accounting. And then so when I saw a job for Emery Roth and Sons looking for that type of position,
Hmm.
for someone to fill that position, I applied for it and I became the controller of a large real estate
Wow.
architectural firm. And I stayed there, like I said, about 4 years. And I
Hmm.
brought in people, friends I knew that needed a job. They it was mainly white, and I introduced them. You know, I brought in another black secretary and everything.
Hmm.
So I always look out for somebody to hire within our community.
Reach back. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So then you were an accountant,
I
and
was,
that was working out great for you. And
yeah, that was working.
I remember the other night you talked about how you're a business owner. So I'm going to get there
Yes,
in a second, but
yeah.
how big a move of it is it for you from bookkeeping and then to owning your own business to running for elected office? How big a move is that? Does that represent?
It's not a real big move. What happened was you can't just jump. A lot of people want to just jump into a new like a new company making their own company, but I always tell people go to a company that is similar to the one you want to start up and learn there, learn everything you need to know, and then start up your company.
Mhm.
So so what happened was it's similar. What's similar is I I wasn't planning on running for office.
Mhm.
I wasn't even planning on running for Community Board 12 chairperson. I wasn't planning on running for Adelaide Park's president, but all of that was like a stepping stone. So coming from Adelaide Park president to working at SQPA and helping them with their books, and then going for the community board chairperson position, and then realizing, wait a minute, if I'm doing all this for free, my husband's like, you keep doing all this, you're working like constantly all day long on the community, and you don't get paid. And I've done this for like 5 or 6 years. I mean, I think I was the no, I've done it almost 10 years now, but I was the chairperson maybe about 4 years already. And he's like, and I've been working full time ever since I started
Mhm.
the board, going out and trying to find things and helping out. So that was like it's always a stepping stone. I don't
Right.
expect to jump from being a civic leader all the way to running for office. I knew that I had to, but I wasn't even planning on it. But once I ran for community board chair, I said that has to be the next step because I'm not finished helping the community. And so
Right.
that's how that led to that. And as far as my job, why I'm saying similar is that I started at the Emery Roth and Sons, the architectural firm. After that, I went in, and this is just by accident. I saw an ad for
Right.
an entertainment accounting company. I went there. I worked my way from, well, I wasn't the bookkeeper there. I was an accountant there, but I worked my way up to principal accountant at that firm. The only woman, um,
Wow.
it was mainly all men partnership, and I was the only woman in the partner meetings. And I had I had my own clients, a lot of large famous. Well, Biggie was another client from another company, but I went from Emery Roth and Sons to Burt Padell's office, which Biggie always talks about Burt Padell taking all the money. That's
Right.
where I worked at that time. I was there at that time. And then I left there to go to another accounting firm, entertainment accounting firm in White Plains, which
Mhm.
was the biggest mistake in my life because
Right.
I would get so upset because the distance it
Right.
took with traffic and everything, it was just
Right.
ridiculous.
Mhm.
Sometimes 2 hours to come, and I had small children, so I stayed there maybe 2 years. Now I'm like, what happened was my brother, who's also in the entertainment industry, which it's just a coincidence we're both in the entertainment industry. He saw Burt Padell on the street, and Burt Padell said, "What's your sister doing?" He's like, "Oh, she's up there, working in White Plains with another company." And he says, "Tell your sister I want her back. I want her back." So that's how I came back to Burt Padell. And then after I
Right.
came back, things had changed after I had left. They gave me my own office again and everything, but it was a little different because I guess maybe they thought I might leave again. So I stayed there for maybe a year. Bert wanted me to stay for a while, but I realized I was taking on clients, not their clients. They never stole clients. What
Mhm.
happened was a client would come in and they'd have a friend that's in the business, and a friend would say, "Can you do my books?"
Right.
That's how I started doing my own business.
Oh, okay.
Right. So working at
When did you actually launch your own business?
in 1989,
Okay. And
and
then I,
Genuine was my first client.
I wanted to take a few steps back. You said that it wasn't in your plan to run for Asley Park president. It wasn't in your plan to run for CB12's chair. Um, so why did you do those things?
Well, I'm okay. So I was the Astley Park president during that time. Marie had started landmarking Astley Park. Greg Mays had taken it over. Marie, they call it only Ryan, which we call Marie for short. Then Greg took it over, and then after Greg took it over, he could no longer because his term ended. They were looking for someone else to run, and they all turned to me because I've been active with them. I was the treasurer, and they're like, Rene, someone nominated me. I do not nominate myself. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. They're like, we'll help you. We'll help you. So that's how that happened. I became the chair of Adelaide Park. And from there, Greg started the fight for the VA hospital, Greg
Right.
Hayes. And I just continued what he was working on. And he's got his mind is he's very good. Greg is at making things happen, and so I continued his work. And when I went to meetings, I met the veterans, and that's when I formed an organization to save the VA hospital.
Right.
And Greg would come and work with us once in a while. But that's I landmarked Astley Park, and then I moved to the VA hospital to save that. And once I saved it, then I became sort of famous in the neighborhood because everyone used to say, "Oh, you'll never win. It's a government. It's a done deal."
Right. Right. I remember
And
that fight.
so
Right.
yeah, so after I won it, everyone's like, "Oh, Rene, hey, Rene." So at that point, I was thinking about running at that point because I'm like, this is if I'm going to run for office and I'm already out here, I'm doing things here. I should run for
Right.
office. And Manny Kaufman came to me. Oh no, I told him I was running. I said, Manny, I'm running. This is when Danique was running the first year.
Okay. So this is for
And I think I'm gonna
27.
run,
Mm-hmm.
huh?
20. This is for 27.
2013.
Okay.
So I
So I
said to
mean,
Manny,
this is for District 27, not
District
CB12.
27.
Okay.
Right. District 27. So I said, Manny, I think I'm going to run for City Council District 27. And he says, oh, Rene, he says, I'm going to run.
I remember that.
We're
Yeah.
kind of friends. Yeah. So I'm like, oh gosh. I say, okay, because I wasn't looking to run. I just wanted someone in there that knew, that was committed to the community, and I knew that he is, and that he's honest, and that he cares. So I said, well, Manny, you're running. I don't need to run. So
Okay.
that's how that happened. And then when I found Danique, is terming out this time, I said, I'm not letting that chance go. I don't care who else is running that I like. I'm running this time. So
Okay.
that's how that happened.
I love it. Thank
I
you.
probably confused you, but
Now I got it. There's a pretty straight line in there somewhere.
okay, good.
So, what would you say are the top? Well, before we do that, it's January 21st. Let's say. Do you need to get the dog? You're good.
No, he hears something at the door. I'm sorry.
Oh, no
Sit down.
problem.
Sit.
He's better than Ring. Uh,
Yeah. Yes.
it's January 21st, 2022, and you were just sworn in as council member for the 27th district. So you're Council Member Hill. Question: what is the very first piece of legislation that you can't wait to start working on?
The 2186. It's got to come off that table. I got to do whatever I can to just squash that.
Mhm.
And the tax reform, I think it's related somehow, and I got to see what's happening with that. Between the two things that Corey Johnson is working on, I don't trust that man.
Okay.
So I'm going to squash that.
And 2186, of course, is the zoning.
Is the upzoning the single family? It's the planning together,
Mhm.
and it's to eliminate single planning homes.
Right, in 10-year cycles. Exactly. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing that you want to do once you are council member Rene
Right.
Hill.
Right.
Um,
That's the first legislation. It's not the first thing I want to do.
well, that's the first
First thing I want
legislation.
to do is
What,
clean the place up
how so? What do you mean?
because it's just Dunkirk and the streets. There's just litter everywhere. I don't know why there's a well, I know why there might be a shortage of garbage cans because what happens when you put a garbage can out there, for some reason everyone dumps their personal garbage out there near it. So I think that's why people take away the public garbage cans that are in front of their stores.
Hmm.
But it needs a cleanup, and I want to put a task force together that's going to be in my office that's going to only handle sanitation all the time, um, and have a cleanup crew, probably a not-for-profit community-based organization or a few of them, not just one, but a few of them that can go out if I see something and get clean it up for us right away if the sanitation doesn't clean it within a certain reasonable time. And of course, I'm going to get on sanitation for not doing it, for us having to do it.
Right.
But we can't leave it sitting there waiting for them.
Hmm.
And so that's why I plan on having a task force to make sure that we don't have garbage sitting around for days like we do now.
Hmm. And then those partnerships would be like those Saturday cleanup days where you might clean up Asley Park, or you might clean up.
No, it's not gonna. It's gonna be daily. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Not
Wow.
waiting for Saturday. It's gonna. They're like I said. They're gonna be out of my office, and I can just call up this. They just called up about this place. We call through. We have to report to 311. I don't care what
Right.
some people
Of
say.
course.
Oh, I take care of it. No, it has to. There has to be a record on file of all these complaints, or else the city that says, well, we're doing fine. We haven't had any complaints. The sanitation. We don't have any sanitation
Right.
complaints. So the complaints must be made, and after 3 or 4 days if sanitation doesn't come out there, then I will take care of it with my task force. But the task force mainly is to go around, see where the garbage is, and for me to call sanitation after the 311 report is reported, and to make sure they follow through, and just to see that if there's nothing out there that we don't know or we've forgotten about. But
Mhm.
sanitation needs to be the ones cleaning it, but we need someone to have their eyes on our community at all times.
Yeah. All right. So that was first piece of legislation and first like task force. Okay. So who knows you best, Renee Hill,
In our community or in life or
in your real life, in life?
probably my husband.
Uh-huh.
He always says I oversell myself. I can't, so I mean, and he's right most of the time.
What's his name?
Lester Hill,
Okay. So,
and he grew up in this community. He was born here.
mhm,
He's born in Harlem, but he moved here as an infant,
mhm.
and he lived near the Rock. The red, black, and
Yeah,
green.
yeah.
Yeah, and he was there when they painted it. So
Stop it. There's a book
yeah,
about that. Have you read
yeah.
that book? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he knows. I think he said some of it's not right because he was there. He knows who did it, but
Right.
I guess that'll be a discussion for another time.
But he grew up here too. That's
Yeah.
awesome. When did you guys purchase your house? When did you move into your house
Um,
in Asley Park?
it was my son was just born, so he's 27. It was 1987. That was when we moved. He
Wow.
he was already here, down the block,
Mhm.
like I said, near the Rock. But we moved in my house in 19. I'm sorry, 19. I don't even know how my son is. Nine.
You just said 27.
Yeah, he's 27, but I'm thinking of the year 1995.
Okay. Well, you're better with numbers than me, so I'll let you figure that one out. So you've been
I
in that
have
house
four
for
of them. I had, like I said, because my mom died. Raised my the kids that she had adopted as my
right.
own.
Mhm.
So it's sometimes I forget the years.
No problem. You're better with the numbers than me, I'm sure. So what was your husband's name again?
Lester Hill.
Lester. What would
Mhm.
Lester say is your biggest strength?
Oh, I think my brains. I'm very quick at understanding something and figuring it out and finding solutions, and I know that he likes that a lot. Yeah, I think it's because I don't ever worry about something because there's always a solution to something, to any kind of issue. So I usually come up with ideas. I have a lot of ideas, and they work.
Okay. And what would Lester say is your greatest weakness?
Like I said, I oversell myself.
Okay. Um,
He always
Bless.
says it. He's like, don't be a salesperson because you always oversell yourself.
I love it. Um, so just name them, don't explain them. What are the three biggest issues facing District 27?
Um, I have to say sanitation because we see that it's a visual and we see that the the worry that we have about keeping our homes and that includes foreclosure, that includes taxes, that includes passing it down to our children
Hmm.
and um, and helping the children keep it. A lot of these young people that inherit
I'm
the
going to
houses
stop you.
around here.
Number three.
Oh, um, and the third, sorry, you did say the access for the kids to do for kids to have um, activities in our community.
Hmm.
I mean, we have a swimming pool at Roy Wilkins, and we can't go swimming. It doesn't make sense. We have we have a basketball court, and we're off limits. We It's off limits to us when
Hmm.
the kids should be using it, and we need our schools open, so they have time for extracurricular activities. I had it as a child, and my daughter has it. She's 30. She's in her 30s, late 30s right now. So that's important. And she always went to the after school center, and we need it here in this community as well.
So we're going to go through the three. The first one was sanitation. What exactly is the problem and what is your solution?
Okay. So, like I said, having a task force
Hmm.
to make sure that we catch all, because people might report it, but they report it once. When you see an issue like sanitation and it's there's garbage dumped like under the trestles or something, you have to call at least 3 times for them to do any kind of action. So even though they're supposed to do something within 45 minutes, they don't. So you have to call 3 times. Either you call twice or you have a neighbor call twice or once or whatever, but you have to call 3 times at least. And then if you don't get any response, then you have to call the community board 12 and or 13 and let them know and give them those numbers, those 311 numbers.
Hmm.
So that's one of the solutions, a task force, just making sure we make the complaints. We just can't keep on passing by the same issues all the time, the same dumping issues, and not complain about them. I know a lot of people do complain, but a lot of people don't. And the other the other thing is just to make sure sanitation is doing their job.
Hmm.
To make sure that they're following through and that they're picking up like they're supposed to. And when they're passing down Linden Boulevard to go to another area in our community, that they pick up that garbage. I just Sanitation has been very good to Community Board 12. So if you have any issues, you need to call the office, and they have a very, which I named her as a sanitation chair.
Hmm.
That's one thing I must say. I put a lot of good positions, people in good positions on the Community Board 12. So the sanitation person that they have is very good with helping you get the issues resolved. But you have to call 311. Give her the numbers first.
And since you talked a lot about sanitation, I'm wondering about your position on the solid waste issue with transferring the solid waste through the community.
Right. So I've been active with that for maybe over 4 years now. Um, I went to sites in other areas to check out how they have their waste and what it looks like. And some in the Long Island, they're like park-like. They're beautiful. The waste transfer station we have here is in a residential area, and that's a problem. Um, the stench is a problem, and even if all right, so you're having trucks come in and the same truck still got to go out. So you're saying we're gonna take it out in rail, but you
Right.
still have the trucks come in, and the trucks still got to go out. So something's wrong there. So now you're gonna have a lot more garbage coming in. You're gonna put it on a rail. From what I understand from I think it's another neighborhood in Queens. It sits on the rail for a while, and the stench is still there. And I have a problem because I see the tractor trailers. I pass there every day because my house is right on 178th, and they're on 180th and Liberty. So when I'm coming home from wherever I go, I pass there. they have the waste trucks sitting on our street. I can't go and look and see inside them, but I can guarantee you from the stench, they have waste inside them. They're
Hmm.
sitting there overnight. So I have um, I have been active with. I kind of put it aside for a little while because I know Andrea Scarborough is on that. So as long as I know someone else, like
Working
I'm
on
not
it.
gonna get on every board, but she's on there. She's taking care of it. She lets me know every time there's a meeting. She lets me know what's happening and keeps me up to date. So there's so many things we have to do as a community. We all don't need to be on the same committee. So I was on it, with her and going to places with her, and that's how I went to the other sites. But she lets me know what's happening, and especially as community board chair, she told me what was happening. We went to city hall to hearings before to testify,
Right.
and so I've been very active in trying to clean that area up. I am disappointed with the community that believes that Royal is a friend of ours. Royal is very generous, but we just because someone's generous doesn't mean that they're doing the right thing for our community.
Right.
And so they could be and they might not be, but from what I see, it doesn't look like they are.
Mhm.
And that's what disappoints me more than anything when I see those trucks sitting on the street and I smell the stench. There's no way I can be friends with Royal, and it needs to be cleaned up. I had contacted New York State and said, "Are you giving them inspections?" Because when I went out to Long Island,
Hmm.
they get inspected every week.
Hmm.
They don't even
By
know
the
when the
state,
last time we were inspected
they
here.
get.
Our waste transfer station was inspected.
And all right, so that was sanitation. The second biggest problem, keeping our homes. What's the problem, and how do you solve it?
Jobs. We need jobs. A lot of people losing their homes because of jobs and because of taxes. So we have to make sure some of these seniors are actually on the have the benefits of the senior rebates and the
Mhm.
senior star program. We have to, because a lot of them don't even know about it still, even though they're seniors, they don't know that they could benefit from this program.
Mhm.
Um, Also, um, it, the it's mainly jobs. It's mainly jobs, and then we had high interest rates,
Mhm.
and we have to have fairer banking systems where we're not paying higher rates for our mortgages than other people with the same credit rating as we do.
So how do we
But
solve that problem?
well, I had went to New York State, and I had told Senator Sanders, because he was in charge of banking,
Right.
about, I thought he was going to bring plans, plans here for banks to give us, even though we might have credit issues or we might have higher interest rates to help us with this, but nothing ever happened. So I would follow through with him and see what's happening, and I'd have more power to possibly see what I can do as a city council person to help our homeowners with programs, institute programs. I know there's NACA has programs,
Right.
especially for first time home buyers,
Mhm.
but or home people that have lost their house. NACA will, if you have lost your house and you don't have a house anymore, NACA will help you get back on back so that you can actually buy a house again. They have a program.
Mhm.
So people need to know that, but I don't want anyone to lose their home. And so I would need people. I would have a way that people can reach out to me, uh, so that if they feel like they're about to lose it, they need to contact me beforehand, because I've helped people save their homes. I've done modifications for over 10 or more people in our community, and they
Mhm.
still thank me for helping them. But you got to reach out for help, or else no one knows. And then if it's too late, there's nothing that I can even help you with.
Yeah, when the sheriff is in your house,
Yeah.
it's too late. Absolutely. And so number three was kids' activities. So what's the problem and what's the solution?
The problem is that there are some programs we have here, and I'm not going to name them, but some of the kids are very bored there, especially our teenagers.
Hmm.
So we need programs that are going to keep them busy. We need programs that'll teach them woodwork. We need programs that'll teach them a trade. My son, my brother's son, Chris, who is now I call my son. So I'm not going to say brother anymore. This is my son, right? So Chris, um, when my mom passed away and I started raising him, he never had a father figure, And so my husband was kind enough to bring him into our family, because not every husband would want two other kids not family related, to take
Hmm.
the responsibility on, but he did, thank God. And we realized that Chris needed some guidance, and
Hmm.
he was a lot of trouble in school and everything. But everyone loves him. He's a great kid, but he just always getting in trouble. So what we did was, my husband did, was sign him up for rites of
Right.
passage in Allen AME Church,
Yeah, yeah.
and that had helped him totally. They mentored him, they treated him like family, and he grew from there. He learned videography, he learned audio, and he makes it. I don't know if you saw some of my films on my website, but he did them for me.
Oh,
And so
wow.
yeah, so he's very creative, he's very smart, and he had a lot, like, my mom had him on medicine because they said he had ADHD. So when he came to us, he was on so much medication that he was like out of it
The
sometimes.
fog, right?
So we took him off the medication and we put him in that program, and it really helped him because he was always there. He was always at church. Where's Chris? He's at the church, and
Right.
everyone knows him there. That he hasn't been there for a while now because he moved to Rockland County, but that was the best thing we ever did for him. And our other kids, I had them in beacon programs. You
Right.
got to keep the kids active, and you just you don't have to keep them on a leash, but you got to know where they are. You got to make sure that they're happy in the programs, because what happens is, I saw the program that I was talking about that they were bored in. I see the kids leave, and
Oh,
why
yeah.
are these kids leaving and walking out of the park by themselves, going across the street to the school, to the candy store? They're supposed to be in the programs, but they were so bored that they didn't want to stay. They wanted to walk, and I'm sure if their parents knew they were walking away to go to the store, they would have had a fit. But that's because they were bored, and the basketball programs that were there, they were dismissed because they weren't paying any money, and that's wrong. It should be open. And what drove me crazy most of all is our kids need swimming, and they would bus kids in from other communities to use our pool. No, we need to, whatever programs in that building needs to use that pool whenever we need it, because that that caters to the immediate community.
Right.
So our kids would use it once or twice a week, and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Hmm.
No one did anything about it. No one's. I just didn't understand that these kids need swimming. So that's what I would push for. That center they're supposed to build. I don't know. No one has seen the plans. The community should be seeing the.
If we could only have one, where in the district would you propose
Well,
one of
we
those?
already have Roy Wilkins, so hopefully that will be a nice one there. But we need one up there in Community Board 13. We definitely need one up there. They have we could probably find some land somewhere, but they definitely need a community center for the kids up in Community Board 13.
Right. Okay, so it looks like Cambria Heights, Queens Village.
Cambria Heights, yeah, like maybe in the middle between Cambria Heights and Queens Village,
Mm-hmm.
um, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's how you solve the activity problem with kids. What about like Saturday school for kids
Oh,
who
I
want
definitely believe in that. I was in a forum the other day, and I was telling him I used to go every Saturday to St. John's for their reading program and their math program, and I think that's how I got. I was, math is just, I love math because of it. You need the extra work sometimes.
right,
Some kids do, just so they can. The teacher might not be teaching it right to them, or they might not get what the teacher's saying. So you need another instructor. Could be the key to them knowing it and enjoying it. And that's what I found. Like when I had other teachers outside my school, I'm like, oh, that's so easy now. I got it.
right.
So it's not always good to stick with the same teacher. So we need the extracurricular or the extra schooling outside school, even if it's morning or it's in the evening or on the weekends. We need that for our kids. So if one teacher can't teach them or they don't understand that teacher, this other teacher might get through to them.
Hmm. Nice. Thank you.
Mhm.
So you've had a lot of experience in the neighborhood. We talked about Community Board 12, As Life Park, Civic. So what about, and then of course, all of your work experience as well as a professional. So what about your particular experience makes you perfectly suited to represent the 27th Council District?
I believe it's empathy and the attention I give to everyone. It, when as a community board 12 chair, when someone came to me and had a problem, I would help them try to find the solution. Um, I know, I know what our community needs. I know because I've been here. I don't have to go around asking or have a meeting as soon as I become city council person.
Right.
I am part of the civic leaders. I meet with them all the time. I meet with the civic leaders. I talk to them on the phone. I call them and say, they call me. Renee, do you know about this? Do you know about this? What should we do with this? We work together. So I am so passionate about having the community board and the civics involved. Um, I think Adrian had started, and I'm not going to say whose idea it was, but I think it was mine. But everyone else tries to claim it because I'm more civic. I'm very civic. I was always a civic leader in with the civic organization, and so when we got a community board, I'm like, we need to get the civics involved. We need to have people set up their civics. So that's how Reverend McKay became in charge of Blocks United, which is supposed to help civic leaders set or people that want to start up neighborhood civics. They come to the meeting and we help them, we guide them with the bylaws and everything. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, Reverend McKay is healing right now. He's in rehabilitation center. But when he comes out, I hope he continues that with the new community board chair. But I tell anyone I meet, they're like, "Oh, I have this problem and my block is complaining." I said, "Start a block association, start a block civic," and I can tell you, I've helped a few of the civics, and that's why all the civic leaders in our community, most of them, except maybe one or two, have not committed, but they say no, Renee. They have backed me as the city council person for District 27, the candidate, because they know that I am committed. It's not. They know they can come to me. They know they can depend on me. They know I've been there for them. I've worked with them, and it's not about power for me. It's about us all working together.
And my last question, and 45 minutes just goes
I
right
can't
by
believe it.
so quickly, right? I told you it would. Um, my last question, we've got about 3 minutes left on the clock. Why should we, the residents and the constituency of District 27, vote for you?
Because I have the most experience. I was an entrepreneur. I'm still an entrepreneur. I've worked for corporations. I've been a principal of an accounting firm. That's, if anyone doesn't know, that's like almost a partner. But because it was all men, I was just right there. I
Right.
couldn't break that ceiling, but I was right there, and I just have the family experience. I've experienced loss of jobs for over 2 or 3 years. It's the worst thing, and I feel for people and I understand it. I've come close because I've lost my job of almost losing my house because of that. So I understand that, and I have empathy for them. And I'm passionate about our community, and I know that we can make this community so much better if more attention is given to it and we all work together as community board, as civics, as residents of our community. There's so many people like, Renee, what can I do to help? And everyone wants to help. So there's no reason why our community should look like this. We just need to get someone in there that can pull in the funds and just allocate it fairly, and make sure that we have the programs that are needed to serve our community, and also get jobs, bring jobs, whatever's going to bring jobs. Whether it's a hospital, if we bring a hospital here, that'll bring jobs. Even if we bring a hospital back at the VA center, VA site, that will bring jobs. We need JFK. I had argued at JFK because they're talking about all these jobs you can have, but you got to have your own business. No, we need. There's people leave their jobs there with JetBlue. JetBlue. I asked them. I said, "How many people do you hire from Queens?" Oh, that out of 7,000, 3,000. That's, what are you talking about? And then when you go to a party, you see or an event with JetBlue, the table is all people that don't look like us. So, and they're a Queens. They are a Queens corporation. So we have
Right.
to make sure that these large organizations like Delta, JetBlue, Resorts World, I spoke to them also. They need to hire more people that live within the community and close to the community. And so that really irks me, and that I will make sure and hold people accountable if they don't hire from within our community. I need to see the zip codes, and at
Right.
least it has to be at least half the people that are from JetBlue from Queens. At least it shouldn't be 30%. And from the Delta, JFK should be hiring right from this area, and a lot of
And
people come
also
from
Belmont,
out
right?
outside the area. Yeah, so I just feel like I would be the best advocate for our community, and that's why I hope that everyone understands that. And I matter of fact, I have a list
Oh,
of
well, I have to cut it off. So,
all right 50 things I've done.
okay, that's on your website. Thanks, Renee
Yeah,
Hill. Thank you, candidate Renee Hill,
thank
for
you,
sitting down with A Better Jamaica for a 45-minute conversation about yourself. We really appreciate it.
thank you,
Best,
Gail.
best of luck to you. Oh, one quick question. Who's your number two? You're welcome. Who's your number two?
Oh, it's I don't know. I know I gotta hurry up. Uh, I don't know. It has to be someone that's lived here, done work that's worked in the past. I'm tired of these people that just came in and started during the pandemic. I don't know, and that's why I'm running because I haven't been able to find anyone. So
Okay, that's
thank you,
fair. Thanks so
thank you,
much. Candidate Renee Hill, everyone. Thanks so
thank you,
much for sitting down with A Better Jamaica. I am Gail Lewis. It's been my pleasure to share this with you this afternoon. Thanks so much. And remember, get out and vote. Early voting has already started. Make sure that you cast your vote real soon. For everyone at A Better Jamaica, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.